Meet Beleanie. She's a mindset strategist. For the past quarter of a century, she's helped her clients make permanent changes in their mindset so they can create the lives they've always wanted. She's an expert in her field. She understands firsthand how challenging life can be and how a shift in mindset can regain one's life. I sat down with her to delve deep into the subject of why. Why do people do the things they do? In this interview, she shares her insight based on years of helping her clients transform their lives. Welcome to The Person Within. Beleanie, first of all, normally I ask people to come to my place. You invited me to your home. First of all, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for being here.
So, as you know what my podcast was, and I changed it to The Person Within, there's a whole reason behind that. But before I interview these CEOs and people that have done something extraordinary in their life, my thing is, how do people think? Why do people do things? So I'm interviewing you and two other people that I am categorizing as experts in the human psyche. That's how I kind of put it under. But you are a mindset strategist.
Correct.
Explain briefly what that is.
I'm totally absolute all about mindset. So like, for instance, 100% of all the choices people make are made from mindset. 100%.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
And so a mindset strategist is about teaching someone what's going on in their mindset in order to create a strategy of thinking consistent with the kind of results they want.
Excellent. That's put perfectly. How long have you been doing this?
Wow. Well, let's see. How long? Since 1985. Okay. 8 years in my own life.
Okay.
I was kind of doing mindset. You know, the I'm trying to think who said it. I was country before country was ever cool, right?
Yes, yes.
I can't even remember now who that was. But so I've been doing mindset way before it became the topic, right?
Yeah.
Of and the importance of mindset. Well, I think we've always known that what goes on up here is kind of how we respond to life, and period.
That's right.
But in 1993, to answer your direct question, 1993 was when I was asked by a friend. It started off like an ask, then it kind of became an order. Because I said, "You clear about that?" She said, "I want you to start teaching what you did in your life. I want you to teach others, and particularly women at that point in time." This was in 93. And women business owners, and how to live their dreams. And she said, "You know, you've transformed your entire life." And I said, "Well, you're crazy. You're nuts." I said, "What makes you think?" And she said, "Well, I really want it to be for a whole year." I said, "A year?" And she said, "Yeah." And she said, "And all women to begin with." And I'm going, let me get this straight. All women showing up consistently for a year. And she said, "Yes." And she said, "Go to work on your mindset on that, Beleanie." And so I said, "I'll do it." I mean, I got my own stuff handed right back to me at that time. But that's how it feels like all of my life, but clearly, definitely the largest part of my life now.
Just an average and about number, how many people have you worked with?
Oh, gosh. Thousands and thousands.
Okay. People from all walks of life.
Oh, absolutely. All ages. You know, there was a time when I said my oldest clients were a couple, and they were like 82 and 87, I believe it's somewhere in that range. And I'm like, now I'm about to catch up with them. You know, it's like, whoa, this is beginning to become the standard in a lot of ways. But literally from 9 years old to that age range.
Wow.
Can you imagine being a couple, both of which are in their mid-80s, and they're looking for a mindset shift?
That's amazing.
Actually, what they were looking for was the wife was looking for me to fix him, right? If he would just straighten out, we'd be happy. And so we handled that day.
That's an excellent point. There's a guy, Zig Ziglar, passed away. He was yeah. And he talked about how somebody came to him way back when and said they hated their job. There was nothing good about it. They need, he said, well, let's sit down and talk about that. And he started going down the list of things to be grateful for with the job. And I'll make this quick, but first of all, do you get paid? He goes, well, of course I get paid. Is that a good thing? Is that helping? Well, of course. Okay. He goes, let's put that down. Do you get, when you're sick and you can't make it in, do they still pay you? He goes, well, of course, I get sick days. Okay, let's try. So he went down this list, and it turned out to be very small things and not really about the job. As you know, there's something that's underlying.
Right.
He goes, and within like a couple of weeks, the guy loved his job. So anyway, it's mindset is absolutely. So the questions I want to ask you are, again, I'm going to be interviewing people to ask them why do they do certain things, because they just have a different way of seeing life. And again, I say people who have done something, for the most part, extraordinary. Could be in business. Mm-hmm. It could be facing, because I've interviewed people that were faced with stage 4 cancer. Some people give up. And we just had talked about off camera about suicide. And other people say, okay, I got this, here's where I'm going to be. They have a whole different mindset, and you want to know why. But for those people that have made a quicker turnaround after working with you, did they have anything in common? Any common attributes? Any common, the way they did things? The way, was there anything common about the people that had a quicker improvement, for lack of better words, on their life?
That's really a tough question to answer, and because each person comes with the way that they've lived their life, right? And mindset is so the way the landscape of one's life leans very heavily on what the mindset is, right?
Right.
But I think to answer that particular question, I speak about the survivor within us. I'm going to bring this in because it has so much to do with how we react rather than respond.
Yes.
But there's people who kind of had their nose bloodied enough sense of I'm done, so they come done, meaning I'm finished with whatever is getting in my way.
So they're ready to do what
they're ready to take the action, and so they're ready to look. They're ready to be willing to receive, and also I think that the bigger my mind's just going crazy right now, going through all the different things that are influenced with the mindset, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm going to stick with that, being totally if you're ready, you'll walk it, whatever walk you need to walk, right?
Got it. Got it. That's great.
However, that survivor is strong within us, and it literally takes control of managing our mindset, and it's not always pretty how it manages it, right?
Yes.
And so that influence is there for everyone, but I also know that when you're ready, you're ready. And so the choice was already made. It's like I quit smoking in 93. In 1993, I quit smoking. Ashamed to say, 4.5 packs a day I was smoking. Wow. I had tried for 5 years to quit smoking. When I landed in my mindset why I chose to smoke, when I handled that, then I was free to choose. That's the difference.
Okay.
That's that freedom to choose. I often talk about, are you living at choice? The company is live at choice, but are you living at choice? Meaning, can you make a choice and complete something, and just because you made the choice?
That's right.
It's painless once you make the choice. And so, back again to answer that question, when a person has made the choice that it's going to change, they will grasp it sooner.
Got it.
Okay?
That's excellent. That makes a lot of sense.
And everyone grasps it, but not everybody's willing. We've conditioned ourselves to be at the effect of others, our circumstances, and the environment around us. We have been tuned to say, that's my problem. And I teach you to discover who you are on the inside.
And do me a favor, Beleanie, I know what you mean, but people out there have never heard survivor. Can you briefly explain?
Yeah, it's that reptilian part of our brain that's going to keep you alive, right? I mean, when you walk, like we're here in the kitchen, right?
Right.
So when we came into the kitchen, we didn't have to sit back and go, okay, remember, when you're in there, if you get close to that flame on the fire, it'll burn you. And if you touch those knives the wrong way, they're going to cut you. I mean, that survivor, we learn and it takes over. We got this. You're not going to do that again. It also takes over, and that blonde-haired, I'm going to just play with you for a moment. That blonde-haired girl you dated years ago and that just dumped you, right? And you hear frequently, stay away from blondes. I don't like blondes. I don't ever, right? So that's a mindset conversation going on. And the survivor set is going to protect you from that because it only cares about whether you feel any hurt or pain or not.
Okay.
And so you've stored the pain around that circumstance along others and others. But what's the true source of what's going on in the background? And so the sooner you're ready to comfort, the sooner the better, the sooner the results.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So on that same thing, on change, and this is people, and I looked at myself. Some of us are, and this is my impression, are afraid of change, meaning I want to change. I'm going to use a diet as a great example. I want to be in better shape. I want to lose weight. Well, we know what the answer is. Now, there are some people that can't. I'm talking about the average person. We know what we have to do, but we continually choose to eat bad or not exercise. It's almost like we're comfortable within our life, and I'm talking about anything, a change with anything. We know, I guess, so why are some people, or a lot of people, comfortable with not changing?
Well, I don't know that they're comfortable with not changing as much as they have given up on it working. So I tried to quit smoking for 5 years. When I saw from my mindset why I was smoking, why did I use cigarettes, why do I not get out of bed, why do I not work out, those same questions you're asking, when we find what's going on about that, then you're free to choose it. The pain is when you're trying to choose.
Okay.
The pain and the suffering is in the trying to make that choice because it looks like sacrifice or it looks like something you have to give up. When in fact, choice, once you've chosen it, there's no more yes or no. It's a choice.
But do you think in the sense of change, like let's say I work at a job and I wish I was the manager, right? Because I'd make more money, I would be able to control. But do you think in the back of your mind, you think, okay, but if I'm a manager, I'm also under more scrutiny because now I have much more responsibility. Like is this other stuff running in the background where I want to do that, but I'm kind of afraid of but you're not thinking out loud, but in one sense, you're afraid of that change because when you go to work every day what to expect.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's a fear of changing in that sense because you're going to be changing the way your life is.
Well, first off, nothing improves without change.
Agreed.
Period. I mean, change is merely, all opportunity shows up in change.
Yes.
Everything shows up in change. So change looks like something so when we talked about the survivor a while ago, right? The survivor's going, we're not comfortable with change because we go there. When we get there, we don't know the outcome. See, the survivor, our brain cannot see the future.
Yeah.
Okay? It does not see the future. I'm going to retract can't and say it does not see the future. Okay? So it doesn't see the future. So therefore, we're exposed to all kinds of uncomfortable outcomes. We don't know what's coming out of left field when we openly make a choice for change, right?
Excellent.
We are comfortable. The survivor within us is comfortable. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
And it tells you, what are we going to do that for? You don't need to do that. Do that tomorrow.
There you go.
Right? So it's a decoy. It's kind of like, I always say, the survivor shows up about this far ahead of you on everything that you might want to choose to do or any place you might want to go. And we don't even know this is happening. Right?
Yeah.
Give you an example. Have you ever been somewhere and you met someone you thought, no, or maybe you had to work with them, or maybe they became a client and you're like, we're going to be a client. So, oh man, I don't know that.
Yes.
I don't feel real secure around this or whatever. And you sit down with them the next year and say, by the way, let me tell you something. When I first met you, I didn't want to spend the time of day around you. I was fearful of you, right?
I'm laughing because I just had a conversation with Bridget about someone who we both know, which I'm not going to say. I didn't like the person's a great person. I don't
Yeah,
yes,
right?
Perfect.
Well, finally you managed to have enough around it that fear of it with the survivor is no longer important.
Yeah.
The exposure's not there. But we're orchestrated to try to navigate in life in a safe zone. So people talk about, it's like, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable outside my comfort zone. Well, I kind of wipe away the lines around comfort zone, because how would you know if it wasn't already in the comfort zone?
Oh, that's true.
It's like, how would you know that you're not going to be comfortable unless you're already uncomfortable, right?
That's a good point. Excellent. See, I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Change produces great results.
So this is a perfect segue to my next thing about discipline. I say discipline mean 10 different things, but I'm thinking of a successful person. They are disciplined about doing the things necessary to move ahead. And I say successful. Again, I'm talking about business. If you want to get better in your relationship, whatever, right? You're disciplined about doing what needs to be done. But a lot of us, I think a lot of us know the answer. We are just not disciplined to do it. And again, I'll go back to the diet. It's very easy to know what to eat and what not to eat. But doing it, so in all the people that you've spoken with, the people that are, and again, I'm going to say successful people, what makes them more disciplined? Does that make any sense? Am I trying to, because they're able to be disciplined, where some of us feel like being disciplined is a very hard thing. But that's got to be a mindset thing.
Oh, it's totally a mindset thing, because discipline is not discipline. What if we just took it completely off the board and you just did what you were to do?
What do you mean?
So it's like, even if a person is having to struggle to get it done, but they're so disciplined that there's a mindset issue going on there as well.
Okay.
All right. So it's like, what if we could walk back a conversation around discipline to find out that who the person really is afraid they are is they're not disciplined.
Right.
So they're up against the have-tos. What if you could just naturally look at, what if your mindset was such that it meant nothing one way or another about you, and you just got up in the morning and you went to the gym? It was just what you do instead of something you have to do. What if it's,
I got it.
right?
Yes.
So it's the mindset of, it's like expectations, right? And that's a whole nother topic for me. It's like, what if there were no expectations?
Yeah.
Because nothing. So discipline could be an expectation you have on yourself. And so a person can be so focused on the discipline, they miss everything around it. Or a person can be so involved with what's around it, they miss the discipline. What if it was just the way you decide you're going to be, and then you just be that? You just do it. People who have an issue with discipline will look at that person and say, they must be disciplined because I'm not.
That's a good point. And this is great, because I know I've spoken with people who are, in my podcast, and ask them, why do they do so? Because I'll ask them, how did you start doing that? And they would look at me like, what kind of a question? Like, what else would I? It's like for them, it's like, what do you mean? Why did I eat when I was hungry? That's what I do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay,
right.
That's excellent. That is excellent.
So it's like, I didn't have to become disciplined to not smoke. I just did what non-smokers do.
Yeah.
Called don't smoke. Right.
Excellent.
The mindset of leaving the cigarettes behind was a conversation of, oh my word, I've got to spend the rest of my life without any of those cigarettes. No, I choose not to have one. See the mindset shift?
Yes, absolutely.
So when I discovered why I smoked, then I could see the mindset shift for that. It's like, oh, this is simple. We make it, you've really got to be disciplined to quit smoking. No, you choose not. And then when you choose not, you do what non-smokers do. You do what you choose. You choose to work out. So you do what working out does for you, right?
Right, exactly. All right, so this is about emotion. And I got to read something that I heard Tony Robbins say, which I thought was pretty cool, but really I want to ask you about emotion. He said the ultimate resource is emotion. If we can get out the right emotion, in your case you may say mindset, we can get ourselves to do anything. All right, so.
I wouldn't say it's mindset.
What would you say?
I would say mindset and emotion is the result of mindset.
Okay, excellent.
Emotion's an experience.
An experience, is it also a feeling?
Yeah, emotion, yeah. Right. Oftentimes I'll say to a client, where do you feel that? Oh, well, I'm upset. No, upset's an emotion. Where do you feel that? Okay. Right? Oh, okay. Wow, I feel it in my throat. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like so there's the emotion, there's the description of an emotion, and then there is the actual emotion feeling, right? The feeling that goes along with the emotion. But mindset determines the emotion you're going to be in.
So I'm going to dumb this down for me. You're basically choosing how you're going to feel. Is that
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're choosing it, but here's the thing: most people are not aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, well, where does an experience occur? Out there or in here?
It's in here.
It's in here.
Yeah, but we all think it's out there, though. I mean, a lot of us think.
Well, we do know that we feel it here, right? We do know that we feel the experience here, right? However, what if the experience is generated from here and not from out there?
Yeah.
So if this survivor is about protecting us, what is it going to tell us? Is it going to say, that's the cause out there, that I have the emotion I have right now? Or is it here that I'm having that emotion? Is it possible none of that's causing it?
Right.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
And when you can land that that's not the cause, then you're free.
So would you say that's a characteristic, again, of all the people that you've helped, and this I am specifically talking about business people who are very successful. Are they much better at their mindset for not worrying about the stuff that's out there, that this is going to control my business? No, this is going to control my business. Or the outcome of my business.
The successful people in business, and the successful people, period, in relationships, money, business.
True.
They either already did or they are learning through mindset, right? But the bottom line, wherever they are in that path of obtaining success, it's because they only see the success.
They only say that. Explain that.
They see the success before they even start.
Okay.
And they live consistent with the success. And the things that come along in the middle are just pieces to handle on the way to success.
So that's okay. That great segue. So some of those things you're going to handle is failure. You always hear that failure is part of success. You're going to fail at whatever before you get there.
You might not get it right for a while.
Yeah.
Failure's never a problem, ever.
Now you say that failure is a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, the average person is afraid of failure. That's the biggest reason why we don't do a lot of things, right?
They think they're afraid they're going to fail. So yes, they will say, I'm afraid that I'm going to fail at this.
Right.
That's not the problem. The problem is, what does it mean about them when they fail?
What does it mean about them? Because a lot of times we think it defines us.
Have you ever we still got a light bulb, right?
Yeah.
We had a lot of not light bulbs. We had a lot of not light bulbs to get to the light bulb,
Oh,
right?
that's true. You're talking about Edison, yeah.
But those were not failures. They were processes to obtain the vision. The vision is the result.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
Okay? So
That's an excellent point.
where's the vision? Is the vision on, if this doesn't work right now, I failed? If this doesn't work right now, I know what doesn't work. Do something different in that.
Yeah.
Right? it's never about the individual thing failing, but that's the power that gets put on it. That's the belief that's put into it.
Yes.
Right?
Excellent point. And this again, this reminds me, I was speaking with a guy, and he was telling me about, again, he's very successful. He owns a business that's millions of dollars. And he's like, I had some businesses that failed, and he kind of laughed. And I'm thinking, a business that failed sounds like a huge letdown, but he was like, but here I am today. This is where I am. And yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he was turning over rocks.
Yeah.
Right? He was turning over rocks till he got to where he landed. Not getting it right is never a problem. The problem is what it means about you if you don't get it right. It meant nothing about him.
Yeah.
So he was able, because he didn't harbor that in his mindset. His belief is that he's successful.
Yeah.
And he's just finding which rock's the best success rock, right? Which is the best thing.
Yes.
And so he wasn't stuck.
So, and failure comes along with, this reminds me of something you and I talked about rejection. So many of us are afraid of rejection. And I think I was saying this to you that, in my opinion, most rejection that we experience in our life, I don't know that it's actual real rejection. What I mean by that is, I'm going to do it to sales. If you're making a bunch of sales calls, people are hanging up on you or saying no, they haven't really even heard you. So there really is no rejection there. It's because they haven't heard you. Same thing if you go on a dating site. I'll use some of my experiences. And you send out a thing to a woman, and then you get on the next day to see if she heard, and you realize you've been blocked from her. You're like, what? You didn't even give me a chance. But that's not even a rejection. It's not a true rejection because you didn't even get, but doesn't matter. A lot of us are just afraid of that. Mm-hmm. But again, successful people, they look at, and you explain that a no is just a no. Can you briefly?
Yeah, so I don't have rejection, right? I just don't live in that belief system. I believe, first and foremost, is I believe wholeheartedly in what I have to offer. And I believe wholeheartedly in the results that a person can have. I would be doing an injustice if I didn't offer it to people. It's where they are that the choice comes, right?
Right.
So in the conversation of what's available, they choose. But that's their choice. It's not about me.
Excellent. Excellent point.
And even if it were, it would just be their judgment about me. So a person, and this is where you, with your cold calling thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's, once you get it, that it's not about you, then you don't make it about you. But that's mindset. That's the whole belief mindset thing to begin with.
Yeah.
Is how you view yourself, right?
Yeah. And again, bringing it back to the person who has done something amazing in their life, whether it be business or, I keep saying this, I want to make sure people, or relationship where they've turned their relationship around or whatever, which is sometimes seems like an impossibility.
Right.
You think divorce is the only answer, and then you talk to people, we've done this, and man, we're happier than we've ever been. And so that's truly a mindset. That's truly a different way of looking at your situation. Mm-hmm. And people that have either succeeded or are on their way to success, they have a different mindset about any kind of a problem, let's put it that way.
Well, it's interesting because the stuff that's really dictating how we emotionally react or respond may appear for you in making sales calls, where it might, if it were the same thing with someone else, it might appear on their finances, or it might appear over here on whether or not they could be successful on a job. The structure of our mindset is based on what we believe about ourselves and what we believe about others. Mindset comes from that. And we have millions of beliefs. Things that you don't even know are beliefs or beliefs.
That's right.
Right? And the way you perceive things and allow yourself to either accept or be affected by them is really up to your belief system. And so when a person decides that they are going to have a conversation about the possibility of their mindset, the conversation is not about your beliefs. It's about what's the source of your beliefs.
What's the source of your beliefs? Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
And so beyond circumstances is the answer to that, meaning the circumstances are not the cause of your beliefs. So when you can move beyond that, then you get freed up to be able to have new beliefs. And those new beliefs will yield new results.
Excellent. A lot of us are very quick to postpone, put off. Like, in other words, again, I bring up the diet because we could all, I need to go on a diet. I'm going to start Monday, right? And Monday never comes. Mm-hmm. Or I need to start saving, and I could save today. I could save $20 today. Well, when I can start saving $100, whatever. We put things off to, and it could be years. Could be forever. Why?
So the first window appears because you may not succeed at it. You may fail at it. Okay. That's the blanket conversation, or like that would be the result. I'm telling you, that's a survivor answer. It's a hold you in place answer. It's not your answer.
Okay.
Right? People will say all the time, well, when the prize is bigger than the fear, you'll be back in the same place if you don't handle what's the source of that fear.
Yeah.
So that's why people say, I don't have New Year's resolutions. Why would I have a New Year's resolution? That's crap. That never works. Why? Because they've dropped it 5 weeks or days or
that's right.
3 hours, or they never got out of bed on day one, right?
That's
or
right.
They still ate the chocolate or whatever. One of my clients said one time, and he's still a client, and he said to me, people go on the diet for wrong reasons. And, or they diet for wrong reasons. And he said, and he still is in great shape, works out, all of it. He says, my reason is I love to eat. So in order to eat and me not float and become a balloon, I work out. So the end result is something that I desire having.
Yeah.
And he says, but I've always worked out. Right? So he believes in himself there. He believes that it works. He believes he will get up and do it. And it goes right back to the same thing I said earlier. The survivor can only see where we didn't do it. So it's risky.
Yeah.
So don't even try. Right? It's risky because we didn't succeed before.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That doesn't feel good. It means something about us if we don't succeed. So many people often say, I'm stuck and I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense to me because I've done much tougher things in my life. I've solved bigger problems in my life. This is really simple, but I can't do it. I'm still hanging out in the bed, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going to...
Yeah.
So when you find why you don't, then you're free to choose. And I keep bringing the same words back.
That's all right.
Free to choose. You're not free to choose as long as the survivor has a role. And when you can hear the chatter that says, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not safe for the survivor. It's not safe. So therefore, you are programming yourself not to do it.
Got it. This is a heavy question, and this is not a quick fix, but just in all the people that you've spoken with and helped, if someone came to you and you can give them a pill, just follow this analogy for a second, where they can be fixed in a day, right? What's the one thing today that they can start to change that would have the biggest effect, generally speaking?
I think what I'm going to say to you is going to answer 100%. When I first started listening to your question, I was directed to a specific arena, like becoming more successful in their business or having money work, and what I see as you went on with that umbrella over life. If you come from a space of service, all things work.
Explain that.
So people come to me and they're like, focused in their business, focused on trying to make the dollar, chasing the dollar. it won't work, because in the psyche of you is money doesn't work. And so, as a recommendation, build your business, build your relationships, build your financial picture through the eyes and the heart of serving.
Is that like finding your meaning in life, or no? It's not really. No.
No, it's not about finding your meaning in life, and that
Or your purpose, or
a whole
whatever.
nother conversation.
Okay.
for me, the purpose is self-generated.
Okay.
Okay, meaning this is my purpose. I have no question that I am living my purpose. And I was doing this work about 3 years when I went, this is my purpose. So when the
Okay.
I mean, I grew into this is my purpose.
Yep.
And I eat, sleep, and breathe this.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm talking about in the arena of service is I'm talking about what I do. I'm not going to chase the money in my business. I've done a lot of pro bono. I've worked in the prisons. I give courses to people that I know absolutely cannot, afford to do it, or at least at not that time. So it's not about the money. Money is a byproduct of how you serve in life. And that I believe that it comes, it's a byproduct. It's not something to go after. And if in my relationship with my clients, with my husband, with my children, and all the people that I know, if I come from that place of serving you, everything's going to work out.
Agreed.
Service is
Agreed.
one thing that we can apply to every aspect of our life. If you're down on money, give money away. If you're down on love, give love away. Get out of who we're concerned about within our own lives and show up in service. And when you show up in service, life works. You can't buy it out. You can't say, well, okay, I'm going to do this so I can have that.
Yeah.
That's not in service.
Yeah.
The starting block when the gun fires is, right, serve. Come out of there serving, and it will work.